In our everyday conversations, we don't generally use the word resolution. This word comes up pretty much only after Christmas as we look forward to a new year with some goals in mind for what we want to do differently in our lives. That's when we start to ask each other, what are your New Year's resolutions? I generally don't make New Year's resolutions. This is not something that I admit to happily. The reality for me is that I struggle with self confidence, and I tend to doubt that I will actually follow through on what I claim I'm resolved to do. So I don't typically voice my goals for the year. This is an area in which I need to grow in my spiritual walk because resolute determination is a Christ like quality to emulate. In the NIV translation, Luke 9:51 says, "As the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem." We see here that Jesus made a resolution to go into the danger zone, fully aware of the indignity that awaited him there. Why? Because he lived in a manner of resolution in his determination to fulfill the Father's plans for him, no matter how painful the circumstances would be. The word used in Greek that is rendered in the NIV to represent Jesus' resolution to face the suffering of his trial and crucifixion in Jerusalem is sterizo. The connotation of sterizo is that of being rooted, planted, supported, and secured. I understand this to mean that Jesus was so deeply rooted in his faith that he could courageously enter a place where he was sure to face deadly opposition, determined to endure whatever awaited him there. In the Old Testament, numerous biblical figures had such resolve. Moses before Pharaoh, Rahab protecting the Israelite spies, David taking on Goliath, Elijah against the prophets of Baal, Daniel in the lion's den, Job in his loss and affliction, to name a few. These individuals chose to trust God's sovereignty when their visible circumstances did not look favorable to them. They triumphed as a byproduct of choosing God as their firm foundation. We can surmise then that resolutions in a Christian context are more than just goals at New Year's. They are meant to be fundamental in our mentality for the way that we live. We get the English word resolution from the Latin resolutionem, which is defined as the process of reducing things into simpler forms. This Latinate thinking actually works quite well with biblical theology in this regard. God is a God of order, 1 Corinthians 14:33. God does not exist in chaos. Rather, he is the ultimate peace in the universe, 1 Thessalonians 5:23. There is no superfluous complexity in the natural order. Each creature has its function. Each element combines with the other elements to create a harmonious balance in nature. And nature itself testifies to God's power and divinity. Romans 1:20. If we slow down enough to disentangle ourselves from those things which add complexity to our lives, things such as materialism, selfish ambition, sloth, and fear, and decide instead to seek our peace and joy in God, how much stress and heartache will we eliminate in our lives? How much more peace will we enjoy by choosing God's simplicity? Resolutions, then, can and should be made as ways to simplify and structure our lives. To do so, we can follow the simplicity of Jesus' teaching as found in Matthew 5:33-37. Again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, "Do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made." But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by the earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. The Christian perspective on resolutions is more than goals to achieve. It is a way of life in which we follow through day in and day out with the simple commitments that we have made to our family, friends, church, clients, and the like. In the words of Scripture, James 5:11 and 12 teaches this: "Behold, we consider those blessed who remain steadfast. You have heard of the steadfastness of Job, and you have seen the purpose of the Lord, how the Lord is compassionate and merciful. But above all, my brothers, do not swear, either by heaven or by earth or by any other oath, but let your yes be yes and your no be no, so that you may not fall under condemnation." Troubles are bound to come, yet Christ has overcome the world. Let us then be people of resolution, people who say what they mean, who mean what they say, and who stand firm in God.